Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering VCT Americas KICKOFF 2025. For this occasion, I'm here accompanied by Mada, the duelist for NRG, who are coming off of an opening series match against Cloud9 in which they lost in said match, in said competition. So Mada, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk to you for this interview. First off, I gotta give you the obvious opener question. I mean, obviously, losing to Cloud9 is not the start that you guys would have wanted to have, but nevertheless, such is the case or nevertheless, such is the hand that you were dealt. So I gotta ask you, like, what's going through your mind? What were you feeling? Coming off of the main stage and finishing that matchup.
Um, I think we kind of lost to ourselves. That was like my first thought, and also that's not to discredit Cloud9 in any way. I feel like they played really good. Zeppa played exceptionally good. I even when I was fist bumping him, I was like, "Wow, you had a life game," and he was laughing a little bit. Uh, but yeah, no, I feel like small things on both maps kind of costed us a game. Few whiffs, few post plants, few retakes, few alt rounds. Like everything just kind of like was a little bit sloppy from us today, and I think everyone knows that. So no one's really too upset about how it went. But yeah, we just need to fix like these little small things, and we should be fine.
I think I'm gonna give you the obvious follow up onto that. What do you think just caused the team to just have an off day in general? Yeah, was it like mental or something like that?
I can't speak on behalf of my other teammates, obviously. I feel like like as a whole, we were just a little bit uh just not the same form that we were during the or the off season. And yeah, as long as we just acknowledge that and move forward, then we should be okay.
I mean, obviously, like you had some time playing with NRG, especially during the offseason since the time you joined over from Tier 2, and obviously you've been able to play a fairly decent amount of matches in said offseason. So I want to ask you, just out of curiosity, was there any difference to you, like in terms of like feel and kind of performance in going from offseason to main stage? Did you sense any of that?
It was definitely more exciting. Like the off season is not to sound like I have like some giant ego or anything, but it is like a little bit more boring because there's not really that much on the line. And during the season, you're playing for Bangkok, and there's just that extra level of pressure that makes the match that much more fun and that much more exciting, as well as the crowd. Like the crowd is it's fun to play in front of the crowd.
No, definitely, I do understand. I wanna ask you a few questions about the match itself. Heading on over first and foremost onto Fracture. I mean, you guys started off, I would say, pretty poorly. Especially on defensive end. You guys were able to claw back from the dead, and force overtime, and unfortunately, from that point, C9 won on Fracture, carried that momentum forward over to Lotus. Uh, and yeah, went on to win the series. First map was obviously like the pivotal point that kind of decided the series. What I might say, but for you, Mada, what do you think was just the biggest issues that affected the team, especially during that opening half in in Fracture, that kind of led or kind of set the foundation for the eventual result?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty general, but the only way to really like explain it is we just started slow. Why we started slow, I'm not sure, but we did start slow. That's a fact, and they just started off really good as well. Like especially like again, especially Zeppa, he just kind of got off to a crazy start, and he kept that momentum the entire two maps, which is pretty admirable. And yeah, I feel like if it was our good day, or if there's a lot of like ifs, I can't, I don't want to take away from Zeppa, I don't want to take from C9, but uh it really was just kind of a slow day for us, and on that slow start, I think kind of burned us a little bit. Even though we clawed back, I feel like that's exactly it. Like we were just clawing back the entire day today. Everything was clawing back on both like Lotus and Fracture.
Kind of feels like when the team digs itself into a hole very early on, it becomes very difficult for the team to eventually get out of it. I mean, you guys were able to get out of that hole in Fracture, but that was only literally for like 2 rounds, like a few seconds, essentially speaking. And so that was basically the overall theme of that match, right? Would that be fair?
That'll be fair.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully you guys can bounce back in the next match. Whoever it is that stands in your way. Now I kind of want to focus on yourself, Mada. Obviously, like it must be it must have been a pretty exciting moment for you to finally make the big stage on tier one after competing in this game for a few years. I even like had a chance to talk to you. I told you this before the recording, but I had a chance to interview you during stage two, like or more so 2022 in NA challenges when you were part of Shopify Rebellion. So like definitely impressive on the growth from that point on. So for you, to make it to the main stage, what was that like? Minus the eventual result.
Um, After I had such a good year last year, uh, I feel like I just expected to be here. It felt like the years of work that I put in kind of just paid off for last year. Not as much this year, but the last Challengers year with MXS, like all that work that I put in over however many years it's been, 3 years, uh, finally paid off. I finally got comfortable enough to play my own game, and I knew once I like even before Split 2 of last year, I kind of felt that, alright, like it's over for like anyone that's not in franchise. Like I was just gonna destroy anyone in challengers. So I knew for a while that I would kind of end up here. Not to sound like some crazy egomaniac, but it was kind of just like shown to me. And yeah, it didn't feel, I wasn't like jumping for joy or anything like that. It just felt kind of like relieving, getting that contract from NRG, signing the contract, whatever. I was like, all right, finally, I can just kind of relax, like I can breathe, and that was it.
No, I do not like for sure. Like it's good to have an ego. I would counter that because like if one doesn't have the ego, then one doesn't have the mentality to perform well on the server and then go from there. So it's all right to have that kind of stuff. But yeah, like since that point on, you've been able to spend some time, trying to build the synergy, build the camaraderie, build the strategies, build all of that stuff with the rest of the NRG squad, which consists of I would say pretty veteran players, pretty good players in their own right. And so, to have to go from like MXS, in which it has like mostly I would say young talent. You can kind of elaborate on that or correct me on that. Uh, from that to NRG, how would you view the difference in terms of like environment and stuff like that for you?
Um, it's definitely a more professional environment than MXS was. I think we were still a pretty professional team last year, even though we were labeled as a challengers team, tier two team, whatever. We were definitely one of the more professional ones, and even still, that level of professionalism is nowhere. I'd say like it. I don't even know. It's kind of hard to put into words. It's just NRG feels like everyone is very professional. Everyone takes it easy at the same time. There's a very good balance of kind of like a chill environment, a very trolly environment, and taking the game seriously. People know it's their job. People know what we're all playing for. Everyone wants to win. Um, and it's hard to find that balance on other teams. So I think that's like the key thing that I noticed from the very start.
Yeah, most definitely. And then you've been contributing to the team's success in the off season. Then, such as the result of people kind of looking at NRG to like do well and kick off. I mean, sure, you guys lost today, but that doesn't discredit the amount of work you guys put in to get to such attention. So, I mean, as you guys now look forward towards your next match, I mean, you kind of already listed out the biggest issues that affected the team today. What do you feel is the biggest like focus on, or what do you think is going to be the one thing that the team has to focus on for next match?
Just these slow starts. These slow starts are burning us. Um, yeah, no, it's just that simply.
Oh, for sure, short and concise. I do definitely understand that, and I do definitely have to thank you simultaneously, Mada, for giving me a chance to talk to you for this interview. Uh, Pleasure talking to you. Best of luck goes to the team, but most importantly, best of luck goes to you.
Appreciate it, boss. Thank you.